Welcome back to the gun dungeon, guys. Sitting here loading up some big old fat 35 ACPs here. 230 grain, just lead, round nose, nothing grand here. Target loads with unique, just big fat lead 230s. Enjoyable to shoot, enjoyable to load. I'm using some mixed range brass, so I'm going to run into some small pistol primer brass, so I have to pay attention to that when I'm seating primers, not try to push one a little too hard. But that's where we're at. And today I want to talk about a little brother to this one, kind of a little brother, 40 Smith & Wesson. I see a lot of talk about how 40 Smith & Wesson is dead. And, I kind of talked a little bit about the caliber being dead when I was talking about 30 Super Carry. But 30 Super Carry never had and probably never will have the foothold that 40 Smith & Wesson has had in the past. Now, is it as popular now as it was, say, the 90s, early 2000s? No, definitely is not. And as far as being dead, I don't think it'll ever be dead just because one fact alone, and that is there are too many guns already out there in the hands of people for it to ever be considered dead as far as the round goes. They'll never stop making 40 Smith & Wesson ammunition, at least not in our lifetime, anytime, or even your kids' lifetime, maybe even your grandkids' lifetime. I just don't see it. Now, I'll say this. I know there aren't near as many guns being manufactured in 40 as there are, or there used to be, or there are in 9mm. I mean, that's not even a question. You've got, I think the 40 Smith & Wesson has taken a huge decline, not because of its terminal performance or anything like that, but I think there's two major reasons that the 40 Smith & Wesson has taken a hit as far as popularity. One of them being, of course, is that most of your federal agencies and law enforcement has converted back to 9mm. Wise choice or not, I don't know. I'm not going to argue that one. I'm not going to turn this into a 9 versus 40 debate. I have my own opinions on that, as does everyone else. And I'll just straight up say I am a fan of 40 Smith & Wesson, but I'm also a fan of 9mm. I think, I'm a fan of all of them, honestly. Except for that 8.6 blackout. I do not have any use for that one. Y'all go ahead and beat me up for it, I know. But anyways. So all the agencies and police forces and stuff switching back to 9mm. I think that was a big factor in falling out of favor with civilians and just standard market. But I think another thing that really hit the 40 Smith & Wesson hard was the fact that all of these micro compact double stack guns with the hybrid type magazine stacking came out, and it really, the design of those magazines and the entire concept of those guns being micro compact double stacks and shooting for capacity, I think that really hurt the 40 cal. And like I said, the design of them doesn't really lend itself to being friendly with the 40 cal. You're not going to get the same amount of capacity increase as you would, say, with the 9mm. Pretty sure that's just, yeah. So I think, when you're talking about subcompact versus subcompact, and you're looking at 9, that's a lot of freaking small pistol primers. You're looking at 9 versus 40 and subcompact versus subcompact. Your options essentially are single stack subcompact or a fat traditional subcompact double stack. Whereas with 9mm, the new hybrid subcompacts that are double stacked, like the M&P Plus, the P365, they are essentially the same dimension as a single stack 40 cal. And you're getting, I mean, let's just look at my Shield and my Shield Plus. My Shield 40 holds 6+1 in a flush fit, and the Shield Plus holds 10+1 in a flush fit. The P365 is actually smaller than the Shield in its dimensions, in the 40 cal Shield, and somewhat smaller, not massively, but somewhat smaller. And the Shield, or the P365, holds 10. So I think that in itself was a big black eye to the 40 cal when it was just single stack versus single stack, 9 versus 40. In those subcompacts, you essentially lost one round. What's the big deal? What's the big deal with one round? Or even in the double stack versus double stack subcompacts, let's just look at the Glock 26 and the Glock 27, for instance. The Glock 26 is a 10+1 with a flush fit, and the Glock 27 is a 9+1 with a flush fit. One round, big deal, right? I'd give up one round for, a little bit more, a round that has a little bit more oomph to it. Sure, not a big deal. But when you talk about a smaller, thinner gun than the Glock 26 that now holds more than the Glock 26 or the 27, that makes the terminal performance of the 40 cal start being a bit questionable. Is it worth it? Is there really that big of a terminal performance difference between 40 and 9 to justify having 65% of the capacity on tap? That makes it a little tougher. I think that really hit the 40 cal hard. Now, maybe if police forces and federal agencies hadn't went away from 40, maybe we'd be seeing these hybrid type subcompacts in 40. I wouldn't mind having one. If they came out with a P365 and 40 that held even 8+1, I would consider it. I mean, that would be a good consideration. 9+1 would be even better. I guarantee you could put 9+1 in the Shield Plus. Well, I ain't gonna guarantee it, I'm not an engineer, but I would say you could get 9+1 in the Shield Plus, in my opinion. I don't know. It's just, I don't see it happening though, because Smith & Wesson, they used to have, in their first gen M&Ps, they had the 40C, which now would be like the Gen 2 subcompact. And the 40C held 10+1, and it had the 3.3 inch barrel, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But it held 10+1. Now they've got rid of that in 40 cal. They still have that. It's called the SC in 9mm in the M2.0. But they still have the SC in 9mm, but they don't have it in 40 anymore. It's not even on their website. Now they have a 40 compact and a 40 full size, but the compact is more like a mid-size, like a Glock 19 size. It holds either 12+1 or 13+1. I think it's 13+1 in 40 cal, which would be 15+1 in 9mm in that size gun. So it's more of a Glock 19 style size. They don't even have the subcompact 40 cal anymore with the little short stubby grip, which is what I would want. But yeah, so if they're eliminating models in 40, new models coming out, such as the Shield Plus and stuff, not being introduced in 40, it's not looking good for 40 fans. If you want something new, if you want something, I don't even know, has there been a new design gun come out that's chambered in 40? I'm sure there may be, but I can't think of one right off the top of my head. Which really, I can't think of any new design guns that come out that ain't micro compacts. did they make that new Beretta? Is that even in 40? The new, like the frame mount safety Beretta that came out, I guess the 92X or something like that. I don't think they made a 96X that I know of. So there's a new model that came out that no 40, that was 40 before. I really can't think of any. And I know, like, I've looked for some 357 SIG stuff, and the only thing I can find even on Gunbroker anymore is all Glock and some old SIGs. So 357 SIG's it's about done as far as new guns being produced, in my opinion. The Glock, that's it. That's all you got now. Anything new being produced is all Glock 357 SIG. And here I am just getting into it. But anyways, that's typically how I operate. You're always late to the game. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on 40 and what you think its future may be. Like I said, I don't think ammo manufacturers are going to quit making it anytime soon. We may stop seeing some of the premium hollow points kind of start fading out, disappear, maybe not be produced as much because no appeal for law enforcement anymore. Maybe see the 50-round law enforcement boxes of, say, the Gold Dots HSTs maybe disappear off the shelf. Maybe don't make them anymore because there's no appeal for the law enforcement. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But I don't think it's going anywhere as far as ammo manufacturing is going. Gun manufacturers are slowing down on models, though, and they are eliminating models, so who knows? That's what I got for you today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you're a 40 cal fan, you probably didn't. I know I don't like talking about it. I don't like seeing anything really go away, but especially something I like. But anyways, till next time, guys, stay tuned.